in the past, I'm in the future. You mad?
Hey you guys, so we are coming today with a topic that is super relevant to the times, are we not? Yes, we want to talk about the Great Resignation today on Carpet Chronicles. Thank you all so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Kela Trishaan and I make videos on lifestyle, womanhood, mental health. I also do videos like vlog type videos, day in the life of the insurance company, day in the life with a toddler, all the things. So if that's something that interests you, definitely go on ahead and click that subscribe button below and be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss any future uploads. So as you can see, I've got Tsion back today. Say hi. Hi. So she and I are going to be tackling the topic of the Great Resignation. So she and I are both millennials. We kind of talked about it a little bit on a previous video. I am, I guess, what you would consider an older millennial. She's a little bit of a younger millennial, but we basically came of age in the same time frame. Yes. And we've seen a lot of changes in the job market, specifically after the pan. So the pan. Yeah, so we definitely want to just kind of tackle that, like kind of tell you guys our thoughts on why things are going the way they are going and kind of what needs to be done in the future so we can get out of this mess. So if you are interested, go on ahead and stay tuned. All right, you guys, so you know it would not be a Carpet Chronicles if we didn't have some type of food to eat. So I kind of like did a little overview before the video started just so you could see what's on there, get you like a little close up or whatever. But this is kind of bootleg today, I'm gonna be honest, because I didn't really plan on doing a board, but we gotta have some food. She and I are going somewhere later, so we're gonna, really eat up there. But today we've got some, and it's all organic, because we're trying to be healthy up in here. So we've got some organic Gala apples. We have some organic strawberries. We got some Colby Jack cheese sticks. I actually cut them up because I've been having the same issue. I haven't been able to find the cubes, so I just cut them up in cubes, whatever. So these are those. And then, I'm not blind, I swear they don't have it. And then I got some peanut butter for us to dip our apples in, a little fancy. And I got some flaming hot kettle chips here, and this is just because I wanted some flaming hot kettle chips, and she said that she wanted some too, so I said, let's go ahead and have it. And again, because we're going somewhere later and because it's early in the day, we've got water. So, hydration. Now that that's out the way, oh my God. Oh, and then don't forget the stress candle. You can't not have a candle. So, we're gonna go ahead and get into the prompts, okay? So the first question that I kind of want to talk about, and I'm gonna let sis, Tsion, start it off. So how long were you in corporate America, or have you been in corporate America, I guess I should say, and what was your overall experience?
Well,
loaded question.
Let's see, how long? So,
I guess you can kind of tell us, we know most people that have watched the videos know what you do now, so you kind of talk about what you do now and how long you were in corporate America.
Corporate America. Okay, so I would say I was in corporate America for about maybe between 10 and 15 years. Because I've been working since I was 2. No, I'm playing.
Good Lord.
But I've had quite a few jobs in corporate America. I would say experience-wise, I would say every single job that I've had, it's taught me a lot about responsibility. Just making sure, hey, I have to be at work at this time. So I know, hey, if it's 4 o'clock and I have to be at work, then I need to be headed to work by 3 o'clock to make sure I have that 15-minute, 20-minute window or something along those lines. So that's what it taught me at a young age, is that different level of responsibility. It also taught me how to deal with people, as far as I felt like it helped with my emotional intelligence and how to deal with people from multiple different backgrounds. And it's also taught me that customer service just isn't for me.
Lord.
So it's taught me a lot of different things, but I think overall, it has. I've gotten some good tools from corporate America that I've been able to use in entrepreneurship now.
Okay, I'm good. I'm going to finish chewing before I start talking.
Please do.
You know, it's rude to talk food, you know?
Exactly.
Okay, so for me, I have had a job in some sort since I was like 14. So like over 20 years basically. And shut up. So back then it was like I had like a job, I was off for like a year, and then after that, like the job I got when I was 16, when I started working in a bank, I basically been working continuously ever since then. So I would say consistently for like 20 years has been my experience in corporate America. And I am still in corporate America. So I still have my 9 to 5 and I just do my content creation and stuff like that on the side. So the hope is that one day that can become my main source of income, but I'm still in the process of growing. So anywho, back to the question at hand. So I feel like I've had a lot of different experiences in corporate America. I would say my overall experience has been growth, and like in every sense of the word. So like she said, with customer service, all of the jobs that I've had have been customer service in some type of capacity. And working with the public really does kind of teaches you restraint, because you cannot just like jump over the counter at somebody because they say something crazy. You have to, you know, you have to handle it in a way where you can still keep your job, basically.
Very true.
And and also, I feel like that helps you in your personal life. You know, you can't just pop off on somebody because they said something you don't like. You have to learn other coping mechanisms. I feel like I was exposed to a lot of the isms: sexism, racism, classism. All of that stuff, colorism, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been exposed to a lot of different things in corporate America, and it's
what she said.
Yeah, like, so it is, I would say corporate America is really what you make of it. You have to learn how to navigate it. It's one of those things where a lot of us are working these jobs because we have to feed our family and we have to, you know, just make a way for ourselves. Not everybody is wanting to be an entrepreneur. Like I talk about that a lot. Like we live in a culture where entrepreneurism, is that a word?
We can make it a word.
Let's just say being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is something that is pushed a lot, especially with my generation, with our generation. Yeah. But it's not something that everybody wants to do. So I do feel like working in corporate America, like when I came into it, I had an idea of what I thought it should look like, and it's kind of evolved over the years based on what I've learned. So I have tried to, at least in the last few years, because I am still working, make it work for me. So overall, my experience, I would say, has been good and bad, but I don't regret any of it, because if I didn't go through those things, then I wouldn't know all I know now.
Yes.
Okay, so the next question that we kind of wanted to tackle, really like get into the nitty gritty of everything. And excuse me if I'm looking down, I'm just looking at the question. But next question is, what do you feel are some factors contributing to the Great Resignation? So I am going to speak from my experiences, and my sister's going to speak from her experiences. I do want to preface that everybody's experience is different. So any comments are welcome. You know, I just ask that you guys just keep them respectful, because again, we're talking about our personal experience and just kind of what we feel has contributed. You okay? It's the hot chips, Lord. We want to talk about like kind of what we think. So I think there are a lot of different factors, and what I'll say, like some of the bad experiences that I've had have really consisted around people in power at these companies thinking that they can talk to you and treat you however they want to treat you, and you just kind of have to take it because this is your job. So it's always like that lingering fear of, okay, if I speak up, I'm gonna get fired, or I'm gonna get reprimanded, or somebody's gonna retaliate, that kind of thing. Although like every HR department is gonna say that there's no retaliation, there's no bullying or anything like that. But like just working in corporate America, we all know that sometimes that shit still happens. So like they can say that it's not supposed to happen, but a lot of times it's like, it still happens. It still happens, and it's kind of like done on the low to where, it's kind of like up to interpretation, but you know what it is, right? And so I think that for me, what I'm seeing is like during the pan, a lot of those people that were in these positions where they felt like their back is against the wall and they're scraping to get by. It's like, just think about it. You're working, maybe 2 jobs or whatever, but you still barely have enough money to make ends meet and to, take care of your lifestyle and stuff. And you're being talked to crazy and you're being worked like a dog. So it's like all of this and you're not even really getting paid. I think a lot of people, because they were forced to sit down during this time, found other ways to make money. Mm-hmm. And it was a situation where it was extremely scary at first for a lot of us because, there are so many people that don't know what life is like without having to work. So then you were put in a position where if you were going to feed your family, if you were not going to be homeless or whatever, you had to, figure out what you're going to do. So a lot of these side hustles that people had became their main hustle. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. A lot of these side hustles people have became their main hustle. And I think that once things started to kind of open back up, these same employers were not attractive anymore to the employees that were working there. So it's like, you didn't talk to me crazy for however many years and, you were my only source of income. But now I'm in a position where I'm actually making full-time income doing this and I'm able to, have time with my family, be able to actually enjoy life and not just work, and I'm not stressed. And from what I've also heard from some people too, is like they were making more money on unemployment. They were able to sustain making the money that they were getting from unemployment or even just like other things. And then you've seen like an influx, I feel, in people doing things like DoorDash, Instacart, Amazon Prime, whatever, like things where, if you put in the work, you can make a decent amount of money and you don't have to deal with the public per se. Like you don't have to be beaten up by the public, like doing a customer service position and just having to take it. And then you're also not getting beaten up by your superiors, whatever. So I think that a lot of employers are now seeing the other side of it, where you treated your employees like shit for so long. Now they had an opportunity to see what else is out there. And now they see, you know what? I can get healthcare without having to go through a company. I can make money without having to go through a company. I don't have to be talked to crazy. I don't have to work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and still not have enough money to do what I got to do. I can put that same time here and, make a living for myself and take a day off, that kind of thing. So I think that a lot of those contributing factors are some of these toxic employers, that were making employees feel like shit, overworking them, underpaying them, and, essentially telling them that, hey, if you don't like it, then get another job. So now those people did exactly what you told them to do, and they got another job, and now y'all struggling. So
period.
That's kind of where I'm at, though.
Period. So to piggyback off of what Kela said, as far as, so again, you had the pan, where a lot of people were able to sit down and thoroughly evaluate their situations, thoroughly evaluate and see what exactly are they capable of. And they were put in a position where they had no choice but to figure out what they were capable of. Mm-hmm. Then when they figured out what they was capable of and that it was possible to do so, then it's like, oh, well, what do I need you for? If I'm, able to sustain on my own, if I'm able to sustain on my own and, get the end.
All right, you guys. So that last segment got a little heated, maybe.
Real.
And honestly, it got real. And I think really it's just because she and I as, excuse me, them ships, Lord. Mm-hmm. She and I as minority women have gone through the ups and downs of corporate America. You'll see that a lot of the videos that I do, like just to kind of take it back, the whole reason why I even started this channel was, what I always tell you guys, womanhood, mental health, lifestyle. So a lot of the reason why I take mental health so seriously these days is because of my experiences in corporate America. Because before I had a family, corporate America was essentially my life. And not necessarily on purpose, it just kind of became that way. Like I think a lot of us, especially in our community, we started working from an early age, not because we just wanted to get out there and, get our own dollar. It was more out of necessity, so like if I could go back in time, if things were different, I probably wouldn't have started working at 14, but it was out of necessity. And with that, like just with being in such a role from such a young age, you see a lot. and you experience a lot. And I can say from personal experience that my mental health took a hit, okay, with a lot of these jobs. And a lot of it was just because I didn't really know how to navigate it, because I'm so worried about my paycheck, but I'm not even thinking about like my mental, my physical health is being affected by it and stuff. So, yeah, so that's that. But that's why that last segment kind of was like, okay, let's kind of dig deep and unpack this and figure out why these employers are going through what they're going through, because I think for a long time it was an employer's market, and right now we're seeing an employee market, where if you guys want people to work for you and to help you move forward and sustain, you're gonna have to make some changes, some needed changes that are a long time coming. So that brings me into the last
Systemic
question. Systemic, yeah. That's a whole other video, child. So we're gonna have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all want that? We got to do it. But the last question is going to be, what do you think employers should do? What do you think employers should kind of like recognize and do moving forward to, I guess, alleviate this Great Resignation so they can get employees?
Great question, Kela, Trishaan.
Thank you. See you on Thais.
So, I think the biggest thing when it comes to employees in general, and when you are working for a company, people want to feel recognized. People want to feel like their work isn't just done in vain. People want to feel as if, okay, you know what, I'm working, I'm getting paid, I'm getting a living wage. Okay, not just getting paid, because anybody can get paid, but living wage, meaning you can pay all of your bills, support your family, and be able to have some money left over for your leisure activities. Okay, living wage is, I would say, one of the biggest things. So I'll start off by saying that people need a living wage.
Okay, sorry y'all, my camera kind of ran out of storage, or my phone should I say. So you were saying that people need to make a living wage.
Yeah, so to start it off, people need a living wage. And, you know, I feel like that's the biggest thing, especially living in places that have a very high cost of living, such as Los Angeles, where we live now, San Francisco, New York, Miami, Chicago, all these places where, you know, the cost of living is way more than other places. Of course, other places as well that the cost of living might not be as high. However, when you have places like Los Angeles, that's where we live, so I'll speak upon that. It's not cheap to live here. The cost of living is very high. So with that being said, the way our minimum wage is set, it's like, okay, if you're working minimum wage and full time, you're barely getting by.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even able to pay all of your bills with just that one job alone. Working full time, even working overtime hours and working way more, that double time, if you're making minimum wage in Los Angeles, is not going to cut it for you and your family. So that's going to mean that you're going to have to pick up one or two other jobs just to make ends meet, to be able to support your family. With that being said, that's also affecting the employee psyche. That's affecting the employees' morale, because if they're constantly tired and working and thinking about, oh, okay, I gotta hurry up and leave here because I gotta get to my next job on time and these other things, that shouldn't even have to be a factor. When you go to other countries, for example, like Europe, I'll just say Amsterdam, because that's one of my favorite countries in Europe. When you go over there, their employees get paid a living wage. So meaning you go to a restaurant, they're not getting paid their minimum wage. They're getting paid well above what's expected for them to make, so that they can support themselves, support their family, and still be able to have take-home pay to do whatever the heck they want to do. That is not a thing in the United States. You know, people shouldn't just have to be able to, oh, okay, I gotta do my best so I can hopefully get some tips so I can have my tips to be able to support myself. What type of world is that?
Yeah,
you know, and it's like,
stressful.
Right, and you expect people to show up and be their 100% selves when they're getting paid pennies, when you know for a fact that these people can be getting paid way more, because when you see the amount of money that they're getting from grants, from loans, from all of these different financial sources that are going to the higher ups and that trickle down to the employees part, you can pay more. Okay? So pay more. And number 2, treat your employees better. That's a big thing.
It's so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple. Just treat people with respect. It doesn't matter how high up you are, how low you are. The janitor should be getting the same respect as the CEO.
Absolutely.
At me if you want to.
Absolutely.
But you should not be treating this person different just because their title might not be anywhere near this person. They're still a human being. They still deserve respect. Working in so many different corporate America settings, I have experienced disrespect from many of places, and it has took me to a low place, low vibrational. That's had me to act out. And I shouldn't even have to, to come from a low vibrational place to be able to check somebody. That just should not even be acceptable in any way, shape, or form. Okay? And I would say lastly, so those are the main 2 things that I would say. Is number 1, pay people a living wage and treat people with respect. RESPECT, okay? We all deserve it. Yeah, and people, and if you're going to be hiring, this is thirdly, I got to throw this in there. You're going to be hiring more people and you want them on your squad, you better give them a nice fat bonus because you can pay that as well. Give them a sign-on bonus and, things will be a lot different. Amen.
So, to piggyback off of what Tsion was saying, I think that I really do think, especially in like our society, being nice is like so underrated. I think a lot of times with these, let me just talk about customer service positions for a second, since that's essentially what I do. So, part of the reason, and I know I've talked about this before, how I prefer to be an individual contributor as opposed to being like a manager. That's for several reasons. So I'm the type of manager when I do manage. When somebody talks to my employee crazy, now here's the thing, right? So there's a difference between you simply being frustrated with a policy or, just something not going your way, whatever. There's a difference between you simply being frustrated about that and then you just being downright disrespectful. I think that a lot of times these companies are like, not only are you trying to pay people $10 an hour, which is crazy, with a degree, you're trying to say that if someone says, if somebody calls you a bitch or if somebody does, whatever the case may be, you just want to sit there and take it because it's not about you. And, the customer's always right and all that kind of stuff. And that's one thing for me that's never really resonated because I'm like, you know what? Like, if I'm going to be real, no matter how much you're paying me, there's never going to be a time where I'm okay with somebody calling me out my name. And I think that although, like, as an employee, I need to show you respect, it's important for you to show me respect as a customer too. Because yes, I'm offering a service, this is my job, but I feel like it's the same with like influencers where people say like, oh, well, you signed up for this, when you started putting your life online, like people talking crazy to you. I don't think that you signed up to be talked to crazy.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to use that for customer service as well. I took this job because I need to make a living. I want to feed my family. I want to feed myself. I want to buy clothes. I want to buy haircuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't take the job to be verbally or even in some cases physically abused. Not that I've been physically abused, but I know that that's happened to some people. And the job will tell you like, oh, well, if the customer hits you and you hit them back, you're fired automatically, So I think one of the main things, just so I don't get off on a complete tangent, I think one of the main things, like as an employer, your employees need to trust you. Because at the end of the day, it is a give and take transaction. As an employee, I'm helping you to make money and I'm helping you to stay in business. So as an employer, I need you to have my back and show me respect. So if there is a situation where somebody is talking to me crazy, degrading me, like literally just being downright disrespectful, there's got to be a way. And I know there's a way. But in the times when I've tried to exercise that, I've been reprimanded myself, because if someone, let me just bring it back. If somebody was talking to my employee crazy, in a professional way, I would check the person. Like, hey, I understand you're upset. More than happy to help you, get over whatever issue it is. Okay, so it might look a little bit different, and that's because we're filming on another device because my phone ran out of storage. I think it's because I've been filming a lot, so yeah, forgive me, guys. But basically, what I was saying is that as a manager, I would I would respectfully let people know that they had me effed up when they were talking to my employee or to me crazy. And I would get reprimanded for that because it's this customer's always right and all that stuff. And while I do agree that you can't just be giving people attitude if you want people to patronize your business, right? I do understand that. However, there needs to be respect on both ends. And so for me, just to kind of bring it back, for me, I just feel like in order for employers to kind of get out of this position, one of the things they're going to have to do is have that mutual respect. If you see one of your employees being abused, by someone in the public, whatever, you have to step in and help them. Because what happens is if you don't stand up for the person, and I'm not saying to go off on the customer or, do anything crazy, throw them out, but I just feel like a lot of the issues that we have are because boundaries are constantly disrespected. And so if I know as a customer, I can just stomp my foot and, call people names and I'm gonna get what I want, then I'm gonna do that. So I feel like a lot of employers have taught the public that, hey, if you make a big enough fuss, then we're gonna give you what you want. And so people do that. People know that. And people know that, as an employee, you can't really say what you want to say because this is your job. And so if you don't want to lose your job, then you're taking a lot. And I think that even though a lot of companies will tell you oh, it's not personal. It's not about you. It's about them, which is fine. But if I'm getting cussed out 10 and 15 times a day, people saying something crazy, because there have been times where literally every customer I had was just saying something outlandish. At the end of the day, you're still a human being. So you're going to feel a certain way. And especially if you're going to your manager to tell them what's going on and they don't have your back. So I think that one of the ways to get over this is there needs to be that mutual understanding and that mutual trust. As an employee, I'm going to protect your brand. So I'm not going to act out of pocket. But if you as, my manager or whatever, if you see somebody treating me bad, I need you to come in and have my back too. I need you to protect me as the employee, because I do feel like a lot of times when people leave these companies, aside from pay, it's because they feel like they're disrespected and their mental health is constantly in the toilet. Right. I think also, big one. Yeah. I think also it's very important to pay people accordingly. If I'm, applying to your job and you see that I have a degree, which a lot of jobs are requiring, you see I have a degree, or you see that I have X amount of experience, you can't offer me $15 an hour and think that I'm going to be oh my God, $15, this is amazing. No, I'm going to need you to pay me more than that. I need you to pay me a living wage, like she said. Mm-hmm. We're in Southern California, Los Angeles specifically, so it's expensive to live out here. And some people make the argument, and I can understand for some mom and pop shops, it might be a little expensive for you to pay a certain amount. But at the same time, I think that for some of these big corporations, y'all got the money. Right. Y'all got the money. You just don't want to pay people, but you want people to, work and break their back for you and stuff. And I'm over backwards. I'm a big believer too, and you get what you pay for. I may be more apt. I may be more apt to do more and work a little harder if, I'm getting paid a decent wage. My managers treat me, with respect. I'm not asking you to kiss my ass. I'm just asking you to treat me with respect. When a customer's talking to me crazy, I know you have my back. I'm more apt to do a little more for you, maybe go the extra mile, than I am to go the extra mile if you treat me like shit, if the customers treat me like shit, and if I'm getting paid shit. You know what I'm saying? Sorry to use all the S words, but I'm just being honest, because this is an honest forum here. So yeah, I think that, aside from paying people, like she said, a living wage, you need to treat people with respect. It's real simple. Treat people with respect. Right. Respect people's time. If I have a family, or if I just simply want some time to myself, we're not meant to work, a million hours a day or whatever, approve my time off. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason for me, working in corporate America, sometimes I kind of, I don't like the idea of having to ask for time off. If it's my birthday the same time every year. I want it off. I earned it. That's part of the reason why I'm working here, because of the benefits. You know what I'm saying? So just the power that you have to tell me no is something that doesn't sit right with me, So I just feel like it's a lot of give and take, and just not treating people like they're just disposable, treating people with respect. And I feel like it would work out better on both ends. Right. Can I pick it back? Yeah.
This is on topic, but off topic. One of the things that I've learned too, when it comes to being an employee, working for an employer, you also, as an employee, you must know your rights. it is also important to read up on your employer handbooks.
Mm-hmm.
They give you that for a reason.
Yep.
But, you know, a lot of people will just kind of scroll past it, especially if you're in need of employment. You need the income to start coming in. You might bypass a lot of things. But there's things that can also be avoided if you are well informed as an employee about what is supposed to be going on and what isn't supposed to be going on. So I think a lot of times too, there's a lot of employers that have taken advantage of people not knowing their rights and not knowing what should be going on and shouldn't be going on,
mm-hmm.
or what should and shouldn't be happening, just for the simple fact of ignorance. Ignorance not being a bad thing, ignorance just being simply you don't know.
Right.
So it is important also to read up on your employer handbooks to know, hey, this shouldn't be happening.
Mm-hmm.
This shouldn't be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes instead of asking, you have to tell. And I just to end it off with this. So for example, if my son, I don't have a son, but I'm using my nephew as an example. If my son, you know, I have to take off for him for some reason, and, you know, it was a dire need where, hey, this is the only date that I could use. I'm not asking. I'm saying, hey, this date, I will not be coming in because it's an urgent matter that I have to take care of for my son. I'm not asking, because when you ask, what happens? You give them an opportunity to tell you no. So, of course, use that as you will. You know, of course, there's a time and a place, but there's certain instances where you absolutely can put your foot down as an employee, where you can be able to, you know, get the things that you need done. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Amen. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for sticking with us. You know, if you made it this far, I do hope that we kind of made sense, you know, of our experiences in corporate America and why we feel like the Great Resignation is a thing. Like the fact that it's not that unemployment is super high, it's that people are literally saying, you know what, screw this, and walking out. Like some people not even putting in notices, whatever. But and a lot of it is just because people are fed up, you know, like if we're just going to keep it all the way 100, people are fed up and people just want to be treated with respect, and they just want to be able to, live their lives without the stress of having to worry about how they're going to put a roof on their head and feed their kids, you know? So, yeah, so definitely thank you so much. If you made it this far, please go on ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Share it if you know, were feeling it. And, you know, I will definitely see you in the next video, but I'm going to let her say, like, do you have any closing remarks you want to say? Or
closing remarks? You are worthy, and don't let any shitty employer tell you that you are not. Okay, It's best to just walk out with your dignity, than bend over backwards for someone that could give 2 Fs about your life.
Yeah, that, and then I also want to say, just kind of speaking to that, those of you that are working these jobs, and like if you ever feel like your employer does not care, like you'll see, if you watch my videos, you know, I talk about all the time, like, don't just sit there and take it. There are times where you can, you know, talk to people and tell them like, hey, I'm not okay with, you know, A, B, and C. Like, I want to work things out, whatever, like, whatever it is, don't be afraid to like talk to your employer and let them know what you need to be the best employee that you can. But there are some situations and some like office cultures that are just toxic. Don't be afraid to just say, you know what, this isn't working for me, and find something else. What I can say is that right now is a really good time to be looking for employment. Like a lot of companies are offering like work from home for those that, you know, either can't afford daycare or just simply would rather not have their child in daycare. A lot of companies are offering really good benefits. A lot of companies are offering higher pay right now just because there's a shortage of labor, you know? So if you're in a situation where you just feel like I could be doing better, or you're just extremely stressed, look, there's a lot of things out there. I'm telling you from experience, because I was literally just looking and I got something. So make sure that, you know, you're just utilizing all of your resources. If you're, you know, into the entrepreneur thing, definitely start something. I do feel like whether or not you choose to do something entrepreneurial full time, I do think it's important to have like more than one source of income. I think if anything, the pan has taught us, you know, that we should not have all of our eggs in one basket. So I think that this whole Great Resignation is kind of like a great wake-up call for a lot of people. So
Great.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much what's going on. But again, I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and yeah, definitely stick around for the next Carpet Chronicles. I'm trying to do them like once a month-ish. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time. She has problems.
You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your back, it's like I never knew you. Leave that